So you're 24 right now, which completely blew my fucking mind when I found that out. How's a 24-year-old from fucking what, Kent or something?
Huddersfield, even worse, bro.
24-year-old, over the last couple of years, you're living the lifestyle, you got the mindset about a sick physique, you got a girl, you're building some sick businesses and stuff right now. What happened in like such a short period of time for you to go? Because I've seen your videos, I've watched your content, and one of your clients, and you went from just a fucking chump, like not being offensive, but like we can look back and you're real enough for yourself to be like, yeah, I wasn't where I wanted to be, to fucking whoa, like huge big level up. Was there any like mad pivotal moments, transitions, clicks in the brain that was just like, fuck yeah, I'm going all in?
Yeah, there were, to be fair, there was a few. First one, I was actually a golfer, a pretty good level. I was living out in Spain for 6 months or so when I got onto the Junior European Tour. And I was playing on this course, and I think it was like €250,000 joining fee or something like that. And I was like, Ferraris everywhere, watchers, wealthy people. And I was like, what am I doing? But I also knew at that point that I was like, I don't want to be a pro golfer. I knew I wanted to be something businessy and have full control. I didn't want to be like a high paid athlete that has to move and do whatever he's told. I was like, I want to have a business. So I went back to the UK, started working as an engineer. I was still a complete loser at this point, like a complete loser. But I did know from seeing that, like just the exposure to the lifestyle, I was like, I need that. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but I need that. I need to live in the sun. I don't want to live in the rain, but I need to work for myself and have total control. I didn't want to go down that golf route. And there was a few other reasons I didn't like the golf route, but didn't go that way. Went back into engineering. And then I had another moment where effectively my mum got ill. That woke me up like, fuck. I was like, shit, like what the fuck's gonna happen? Like I have to take control here, because my dad was doing well, but I was like, okay, but I'm gonna have to do something because my parents won't be around forever. Got my sister. So then I was like, driving force, went all in. I then ironically quit my job and no one backed me, like at all.
Was that like the classic UK mindset, like roll your sleeves up, blue collar, you do your fucking 9 to 5, get your pension, and that's like deemed a success? You maybe drive like an A class or something and you get a wee semi-detached house.
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
thought you were bold though with an A class.
play it safe, brother, play it safe. And then I think your mum and dad, if they don't really know what you're on, like my mum and dad didn't know what online coaching was up until probably about a year ago, and I've been doing coaching for 10 years. It's a bit like fucked. But they obviously look at that and it's like, what are you doing? You're making such a big mistake. You're making this like you're cutting ties with a career, a pension. Like when did that change for them? When did they like look at you and be like, oh, fair fucks, Tom?
So yeah, like I said, I mean, at the start, they didn't back it. There was a huge argument about it. It was COVID, and they were like, what are you doing? Like, it's the worst time ever to quit the job. I did quit my job. And I understand exactly why they thought what I said was crazy, because I looked like a loser. Like, I was a loser. Like, I'd been going to the gym for a little bit, but I was like, I want to make this happen. And intrinsically, I had this belief that I was going to do it somehow. Not because I knew how, I was just committed to making it happen. And yeah, they didn't believe in me. So I was like, okay, shut your mouth, just show them. I was a month with no work and I was just online courses, got a mentor. I had like £1,200 in my bank from quitting my job. Spent $1,000 on a 6-month recurring mentorship. So I was like, right, I'm going to spend all my money and I've got to pay for next month and I don't have a job yet. Went to the gym on the 4th of January or whatever when it opened. The second day, shuts, COVID again. I was like, okay, fuck. So that striked me like more pain, more growth, more reason to start pushing online, because this was in person. So I came back. The gym owner nicely let me take some dumbbells home. And I had like 800 followers on Instagram. And I was like messaging people, showing on my stories like PT outside. It was snowing. I was there shoveling snow on the side of the road. In my first month, I did like, first 2 weeks, I think I did 3,900 quid. And I was like, what the fuck have I been doing?
Yeah.
And I was telling my parents, they didn't really believe me. They didn't get it. And they're like, what are you doing? What do you mean? I weren't really monetizing online, but like I had no idea what I was doing, selling little $9.99 things, making a bit of money, selling some supplements. I was in hustle mode then even.
Like supplements? Was that through
Yeah,
like an
so like
affiliation or like
I remember,
Tom's secret sauce?
no, like I remember when basically the first day I went to the gym, I made a trade account with my PT certification or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I went to the supplements retailer or I don't know what you call it, but effectively went in there, trade account. You can get it like 20% cheaper, 30% cheaper. And what I did were in COVID, because of all the online delivery messed up stuff.
Yeah.
I got my first few clients, made a few K, and I went and spent like 1.5K straight back. I'd paid my mentorship off, put the other grand, drained it straight back out into supplements. And then all my clients that were coming to me, I put it back into supplements, sold them supplements, made 30% profit again on top of the sessions.
It's a very Hormozy thing to do.
Oh, I was just doing anything I could.
That's incredible.
Even clothing. I went and I ordered some clothing from the US. Weren't planning to sell it. This was in about month 2. I was always reinvesting back into myself, got my logos on, TP, and all this stuff. And then one of my clients, like there was some guys doing decent who I was training. And they were like, oh, I like that top. And it was some American brand that was very slick and like Gore-Texy looking. Yeah. And they were like, where's that from? Can you get me one? And I was like, yeah, sure. And they were like, how much? And I was like, 300 quid. And I knew I'd paid like 110 for these tops. Another $5 to get a logo on. Went and got the logo put on and then flipped them, double my money. And I was just selling those as well. And I was like, it was all just stacking up. Anyway, got to about May. This was in January. Got to about May. The gyms opened. By May, I'd gone and bought like a 70K car. And I literally drove it home. I didn't tell my parents I was going to. I went into the BMW garage to order. I wanted the brand new X6, but they were like, oh, it's COVID. There's going to be like a 9-12 month wait. And there was a brand new, all smoked out, blacked out M440. And I was like,
a wheeler dealer car.
Yeah.
And
I was like, I had everything on it.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the first ones to have landed in the UK, the new shape, the new design. And I was like, what's under there? And they were like, oh, well, we just had it dropped today. It was like, there was 2 cars in the showroom. I was like, I'll take it. I literally had no idea what the car was. I was like, I'll take it. And then I just drove home with it 2 days later. And my parents were like, ah. So at that point, they started to wake up.
See, buying that car, was that almost like, was that a for you thing, or did you almost just want to show people that you had done a thing?
Oh, it was, I was driven by like a lot of fuck you energy at the start.
I think that's fine though.
I think you need it. Yeah. I would say until 10K a month, I was fuck you energy. Also me, it was the best thing I ever did because I literally started earning money and just drained my bank every time. But I don't recommend doing that first. Like if someone was in a 9 to 5, like there was a lot of times I could have, I don't know, gone and got a basic C class. I wouldn't do that because then you put in, you're spending most of your salary on a car and then you're stuck. You don't have finance to invest back in yourself. I'd done the big risks on me first. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to make a lifestyle jump. Got the car. Then the car was brand new. I parked it right outside in the disabled outside the front of the gym like a dickhead. But everyone would come into the gym then like, whose car is that? And the owner would be like, thinking it was the owner's. The owner would be like, oh, that's one of the PTs. And people would come into the gym and be like, oh, can I have a session with him? Didn't even know who I were. Because they just thought, oh, the others are driving rusty fucking Corsas. This guy's in this. I want to book in with him. And that was my biggest marketing tool.
It's a really, really interesting thought that. And like with some of your marketing now, of the lifestyle,
Yes, sells.
portrays massively wealth, love, wealth. You know, it attracts. It's like an energy. So that's actually a really cool insight there.
I didn't even realize what I was doing either. But it worked for sure. People do it. It's like you can go around telling everyone how good you are, or if you just live a certain lifestyle or have certain materialistic things, it shows. And like, you can't hate the player, hate the game, because that's just how it is. Humans are drawn to things that show success. So that was definitely it. But I weren't that clever with money at the start. Like I said, I got the car. That was a smart move. But then I would just blow loads of money on clothes. I'd be in flannels in the shopping center. I had so much cash, and I was just spraying cash everywhere. But it was only then, I would say, my parents started to get a vibe that I was doing decent.
It's funny you say that. I was the complete opposite. Right, I used to work in a bar, barely a pot to piss in. I was like a drug head. I swear to God, like I was high every single day. There was once a time, like the bar manager came in and said, like, "Hi, how are you?" And I actually said, "How high are you?" Because it was so high, and I was like, "What?" Like proper, just like run away from life, smoke all the time, smoke. And I'd done that for years, and then I was still like building up coaching and stuff like that at the side, and yeah, I just like accrued cash over time, and even like I had a gym and stuff when I was between like over COVID and stuff, and that's where I built up my client base, built up reputation stuff. Didn't do the £300 tops, you know. It was maybe more like Fruit of Loom for we.
What time frame were we in here? What date?
I must have been probably between 21 to 23 ish, 24. But the smoking weed thing was congruent throughout.
How old are you now?
27. Just turned 27 yesterday.
So you've still had a rocket shoot out really over the last few years.
Yeah, I would say so. I think when I stopped taking drugs, things I started wising up a wee bit.
Subtraction, remove the vices.
100%. And then yeah, because when I had the gym and stuff, it was like during COVID, I was the only PT with a space. I was like, yeah, of course I can train you. It's my gym.
Yeah.
So I got like I stacked so much cash during that period of time, and it helped so many people. I was doing like 80 sessions a week, like every day.
What would you say your biggest investment has been since then in terms of utilizing that cash to grow?
Put it all back in me, you know. I got Amy the ring, you know, when I proposed to her, maybe that was maybe 2 years ago now. Got us like a beautiful gaff in Glasgow overlooking the city. Hired a really swanky mindset coach, all upfront payments, just hire this mentor, do this thing, invest in me. And I ended up blowing like 70K like so quick. And then I was sitting and I was like, well, I've got all this, like I've reinvested all back into me. I don't have any vices now. I'm clear headed. And then I was like, I actually feel like worthy now to like right now can grow this thing.
That's the thing though, like that mindset, like a lot of people think, oh, I've just spent 70K. But you've invested 70K, and now you've got from 25 to 100 potentially.
Yeah.
Where now you're an asset where you might earn 10K a month, 20K a month, 100K a month, 500K a month, because you've instilled that base in you, that framework to go from. So I think people are just, they have a mindset that like if they take money out of the bank account and they spend, it's gone. Where in fact when they put it in the right things, it's going to come back. Not everything's like spending it on a pair of trainers.
It's almost like crazy how it works though. See, anytime like you get like a bill come in or something, let's say I'm paying you, right? When I pay you, something comes back in straight away. It's weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like that's free new clients want to work, get started. It's like, oh, why did that happen? Was it the time spent doing all the other stuff, or was it like, it's like a flow? I almost look at it like that, you know?
I almost feel as well, obviously there's a lot of strategy we use with what you're doing, but I also think from just like a frequency standpoint, I've invested money. I remember I once spent 20K on a call, spent 20K, and I swear down, within 3 days, I'd made my money back. And that was like so fast. And like some of it was the knowledge, but I mean, most of it was when you spend out, you actually turn up your work rate and you align your frequency with where it needs to be to go get your goals, because you don't want it to be a waste. And I think it's that almost like artificial pain you need to create for yourself to go and chase it.
I was literally just going to say that's like, if you are too comfy, you're too comfy, you'll sit there on the couch at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday and be like, oh, well, I've done the baseline, the minimal viable dose today, so just chill. Because I've got this in the bank, I've got this here, I've done my wee workout, food's there. And you just,
I try and drain my business account.
Yeah, that's one thing you've kind of been on me about. I've still got a wee bit of like mental work to do on that, because I'm like, no.
I keep roughly 1 month expense.
Yeah.
Everything else, I get paid by Stripe every day. I'm just like, bang, gone, gone. And then it goes into a portfolio, and then I'll either let that invest. But I mean, only recently I've actually started letting that accumulate just because of more coming in. But most of it I just spend straight back into the business. Or I might let it accumulate until I get to a big number and then make a huge investment all at once. But the goal is never thinking, oh, that's my safety buffer. It's thinking, I'm letting this pile up so I can make an even bigger investment back in my business.
Yep.
Because I care about the cash flow. I'm like, what can I invest in right now to make me as a person and my business more cash flowable?
So you've got to become as valuable as possible. You can't do that just by sitting looking out the window. You know,
Exactly.
You need to kind of act your way into that positive state of energy where you're like, fuck, it's time to go again. Because if you can cruise, it'd be so easy to just cruise. You know, you could just pause and be like, it's like, I can train, I can take a 3-hour fucking walk around the Palm and do this shit, and maybe go to the beach club twice a week and pop some bottles. It's like, why though? Like, you do that once. I was invited to beach club today, and I thought about it, and I said to Amy, I said to a couple of the guys that I know, and I was like, it'd be great, but he's there. And I was trying to like tell myself it'd be great, and then Amy's like, look, you don't drink, you're fucking white and ginger and you'll get burnt. And I was like, I fucking hate sand. Fuck that. And I was like, yeah, I was like thinking, I'll go do that because they're there. And how will I be seen in it? Then I was like, no, I don't actually give a fuck. So Patch should just worked. And I felt better doing what I'd done. I crushed like 3 workouts today and like 10 hours of work between 4 a.m. and like 4 o'clock. It was great.
I think at the very start, when you start, like I started earning more money and I needed to do something with the lifestyle. I was like car, and then I moved to Dubai and stuff like that. But once you've done that and you've had that little taste, I think when people hit 8 to 12K a month, they might have a month where they can spend some money and buy different Christmas presents for people and stuff like that, and go to different restaurants and do the beach clubs. And I think after 4 weeks, you're bored, and then you actually downgrade your lifestyle and go straight back to the processes. So I used to dream about, oh my God, I can't, like, I was in a dark room living at my parents' house, little rusty table against the wall. And it was just felt so depressing. It was a dark room, just a laptop, nothing else. And that's how I built my business at the start.
It's goals now.
Literally. And then I was like dreaming about, oh, I'm going to be in a beach club every day and I'm going to be working from a laptop. Did that for like 1 week and I was like, what the fuck? The sun's on my screen. This is shit. I just want to be focused. And now I've literally got an apartment, which is like 13 grand a month, which I've now just turned one of the bedrooms. I've literally paid that much money to turn a bedroom into a black hole, shut all the curtains and make it as miserable as my old bedroom when I was 18, because that's how you focus. And I spend 12 hours a day in there most days. And that's what people don't get. I think they think it's all about the lifestyle. But if you stop, like you said, you can go to the beach club. If you just stop and you just live with the results and the outputs, you hate yourself. You have to be growing to be fulfilled. If you're not growing and you're not, it's not even about growing. It's about not doing what you know you need to do.
I think that's so fucking correct. Like even the other night from coming home from dinner, off the back of the photo shoot or whatever, me and my brother were sitting. I was like, "Do you want to just go fucking crush arms or something, and just sweat and just fucking create content, do a thing?" Because you just sit there and you're like looking around and you're like, you've enjoyed the thing, you've had your cake, you've ate it, but go fucking work again now. It's like I think having little pockets for the week or for the like once a week, me and Amy will maybe go get a bite to eat or something and chill and relax. I think that's fine, but I'm most fulfilled when I'm serving, you know, putting what I put into myself, into others through like knowledge. Like,
Yeah, you win when you help others win.
yeah.
But yeah, what would you say your relationship's like with pain at the minute now? So comparing it to like 5 years ago, because I think a lot of people, like I know yours is probably similar to mine now, but a lot of people struggle with that dynamic on just doing the work and it feels like a chore where I'm guessing right now you actually like going to the process or what people perceive as a pain. What would you say has changed with your relationship with pain?
I think before I used to numb myself from pain. I just that I was in pain through my habits. And any time I would escape them, I use like whether it be like binge eating, binge drinking, drugs or smoking weed to escape that and just flatten it. And then it would only be like the cataclysmic fucking slingshot that would come from numbing your central nervous system to then coming sober, then it hitting you, and then numbing yourself again. So I spent like 5 years numb. And I remember when I stopped smoking weed, and I'd been with my girlfriend Amy for like 4 or 5 years, and I stopped smoking. I was like, "Is this what emotions feel like?" And she was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I was like, "I just feel like connected with you at the moment." It's like, "Yeah, you idiot. This is how humans feel." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, right, cool." So the last couple of years, it's just been chase pain, chase it, like seek as much uncomfortable shit as possible. Conversations, especially like be able to sit in an uncomfortable conversation, articulate yourself well. I used to really struggle with that, be in my own head. Do the harder workouts. Like I started doing like endurance running a year and a bit ago, running like half marathons every week, running marathons, ultra marathons. Done one for like the Swiss and Italian Alps on no food and no sleep, just savage. And then like went traveling and stuff, and like kind of just like fucking got uncomfortable. And it was like a year and a half ago, I'd say. I was in Australia and I went and took a client call at like 2 a.m, and I got lost in Sydney. No Wi-Fi, the fucking 4G didn't work. And I spent the whole night out, walked around the whole of Sydney. I was down in Sydney Opera House myself. I was just like out all night, and I found a gym and trained at like 4 a.m. because I could get in. I was like, no fucking sleep, no fucking problem. Anytime, any place, anywhere. I can do this. And it was like after the ultra marathon, after doing all the travel and building the business and being able to wake up at 3 a.m, take client calls and just all this shit, and then not drink, not take drugs, I started building a lot of like trust with myself, and it was like, but it's hard to do. Then I was like, I feel so good when I do it though.
Yeah.
And I started just hunting it, you know?
That's it. I think I would say for someone who's not sure how to, get that confidence and build a relationship with pain to the point where they love the process, because like we're always talking about love the process, just it's flow state, but if someone's not there, you got to start mega small like you did. And then when you start stacking small wins day by day, just really simple inputs, like so basic, waking up early, doing what you say you're going to do, training, hitting your macros, getting organized, quitting on the vices. When you start doing that, 1 week in, 4 weeks in, 6 weeks in, you start seeing wins. And now you can associate the pain of the inputs with the wins. And then whenever you come to something where you think or you perceive it as painful, you want to do it because you're like, oh, this means I'm going to gain again. Like I'm a bit psychopathic with pain. I just want to do anything that's hard.
It's like even the workouts, even back in the day, I wouldn't really. I just love training for the pain and the pump and the initial like frequency of like, oh shit, I'm on. Like I'm turned on and ready to go. But a lot of people like, my arms are a bit sore today, and I'm like, fucking let it go more then. I'm a bit tender. It's like my elbows hurt. I'm crushing burpees first thing in the morning. And I'm like, my joints are a bit more.
I get buzzed out of it. Well, we're here tonight. Like,
yeah.
doing this, and what, like, the conversation really just went, yeah, let's do it. Like, it's late.
So it's like coming up 10 o'clock at night, kind of messed up about the times a wee bit. I'm flying out tomorrow and I'm like, fuck it, we'll do it. Nighttime podcast. Normally me and you'd be
I'd be
tucked up in bed. we chamomile tea and fucking blue light blockers on, ready for an early start, but we'll most likely both get up at the same time tomorrow and just get on with it. Because like,
yeah, of course,
the job has to be done.
But that'll be another box ticked.
Yep.
More confidence, more win.
Yep.
You just get into a flow state. I can't leave it now. Like, I find it extremely hard to do normal things now, or what most people would perceive as normal, the lifestyle stuff.
Yeah. I like how it makes me feel, but a part of it as well is how I want others to see me as well. My clients get a lot from seeing me do the morning process. When I document it, I share it in the group as well with them. And they're like, fucking, there goes again. Because see, if they see me do a workout and it's maybe super early in the morning or nighttime, and they're like going to take that day off when they know they shouldn't, they see it and they're like, nah, fuck,
it's course correction. Yeah,
every day 1% for that. Every day 1%,
and then that's associated with you
for sure.
Because like 80% of communication is visual. So like, people can listen to a podcast right now and they go, oh, I'm all motivated, and then tomorrow they don't. But like, when they can see you doing what you talk about, that's actually a lot more impactful. That's why your daily stories are so important, and people neglect them. They don't post what they're doing.
Massive. I think a lot of coaches these days don't even have an aspirational enough lifestyle to post. And I don't mean that as like all these swanky things, but like, they don't have the physique these days. They don't have the work ethic. They don't have like, I was speaking to I was on a podcast this morning super early, and I was saying this, but think about people that are super inspiring in life. What makes them inspiring? They do hard stuff. They get up early, they read, they go these runs, they're talking about fucking gratitude. No, why is that so hard for normal people to comprehend that that's what it will inspire you if you take action on these things? It's like, just do that, try it, and you'll most likely improve your mental health. You'll feel fucking better.
Like, actually just become the guy you'd want to work with. Like, we can go nerdy on business and we can go just keep it real on business. And if someone was to say, right, I need one piece of advice, my piece of advice would be, become the guy that people actually want to work with. Like, it's that simple.
It's too simple.
Most people want to know the how to, but they don't want to know, like, who do I need to be?
Yeah.
And that's the answer. Is like, it is 90% who you become and 10% strategies. Now, without the strategies, yeah, it's useless. But you have to become the guy you need to be to get the stuff done and that people are inspired by. And it's not hard. Like, to stand out in 2024, you've just got to do work.
Yep.
Like, that's it, which is scary.
Yeah, it's like if there was two guys in a room, like let's say me and you, Tom, were on this podcast. We're 35, 40 pounds overweight. Wouldn't hit, would it?
Nah, it's little saggy tits coming down.
It just wouldn't. No, it just wouldn't. And like, fucking love ain't lies. You want to be able to tell a client, like, bro, you're where you're at because of where you're at. These habits you've been doing, they don't suit you anymore. If you want to change, you need to change what the inputs and the outputs, etc. And it's especially for coaches as well. Everyone's went a bit too compassionate.
I think the biggest problem with coaching in the coaching industry these days is because there's all these guys now coaching coaches. They've made it very commercial. They've made it very graphics and how to and all this step-by-step bullshit, right? Where in real, we need a 3-step funnel. It's really simple, that actually hits human needs, and you just become the fucking guy that people want to work with, and you understand that you have to serve instead of ask. And when you serve an audience you actually care about, and you know what they're struggling with, you know where they want to get, you know what their pain points are, and you're actually an inspirational person for them, you can't not grow a business, to keep it at its most simple. But it's gone so nerdy and like tacky. Like, it's the most tacky industry now, the fitness industry. It's embarrassing. Like, I don't associate with it. I'm like, I'm not a fucking online coach. Leave me the fuck out of that. Even though what I effectively do at the heart is coaching online, I'm like, do not call me an online coach, because the industry's ruined by people that don't have fitness businesses coaching it from a textbook. I'm like, the only person someone should actually go to grow a coaching business is people who actually have the businesses, and not even just have the businesses, but a business which is aligned to their values, to their morals. Because how many business coaches do you see these days that have the most disgusting page?
It's like a Jack in the Box. It's like clown, like fucking.
Yeah, bad reputation. Like, no one would want to be them. I'm like, don't work with anybody who you wouldn't want to be. It's that simple. And it comes back to what we said, become the guy that people actually want to work with. Because most people don't use the brain. They go into somebody who isn't somebody they want to be like. They don't want to have the business like them. They don't want to have the lifestyle like them. But they go into these people, and then they're expecting that now they create their dream life, which isn't that. No, if you're looking at this guy with X, his blueprint will get you X. But if you don't want to be that, you shouldn't go there. It's like going to university, listening to a depressed man driving a Toyota, and then expecting from that a 7-figure business.
Yeah,
it's the same in online coaching.
Massive.
Don't go to someone. And even with niches, if you want to get in shape, go to someone who has the paradigm, the mindset that aligns with how you want to do it as well.
Massive.
So if you want to do it and have it catered around your business and your lifestyle, go to someone who's achieved it that way. Because how many times have you heard of someone that's like, oh, I went to this bodybuilder and he says it's this, and then that gives a bad reputation. But it's like, he's not doing anything wrong, but they should only be working with bodybuilders. Like, it doesn't matter any industry in coaching. Go to someone who is who you almost want to become and lives a life how you want to live and has achieved it how you want to achieve it.
You got to follow the breadcrumbs, and there's going to be arrows in everyone's back. And it's like, okay, he's got the wins. Okay, if I go to him, I can avoid these, because I've been in like a lot of rooms and groups and whatnot. And even let's say the mentors will be like, don't stop posting your workouts and stop posting your content like this, because, your clients don't want to see that, so no, all the mentors' clients are fucking out of shape coaches. So of course no one wants to see an out of shape guy. Maybe I could go down a rabbit hole here and just start butt hurting people, but you get where I'm coming from. It's like you got to be the inspirational leader, and you got to be the person that, holds the mirror up for your clients and fucking make sure they see themselves for who they are, so they can take the impact and change from your coaching, and as you said, it has to be aligned as fuck. And one thing that me and you've been working on is like just not being like everyone's, just be you. Be as much of you as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And remove all the way we both fucking made mistakes at doing in the past, just do it unique, do it right, do it off your own terms. And like, since I've been doing that, bro, it's a different way, man.
It's first principle thinking. It's like using your own mind to just think, how could it be done? Whereas everyone else just looks at the whole industry and just goes, oh, everyone else acts like a dickhead on social media. I need to do that as well to be successful. And that's actually what makes you unsuccessful, because now you just like, you want to be the black sheep in a field of white sheep, because then you stand out. Whereas if you're just everyone, you're just compared. You want to remove all competition. But like you were saying about the guys out of shape, I mean, I think these mentors for people where they teach them all the weird nerdy shit which doesn't do anything, and they make them look like dickheads. I think the people who are really fat and the people who are trying to claim they're a coach and just don't walk the walk, they need that. But if you want to build a business authentically and you want to be yourself, it's very easy if you actually become the guy, and you can be yourself. Whereas you are going to need all the stupid, retarded strategies where you look like a dickhead if you look like a dickhead.
The realignment formula.
Yeah.
Because like I've been in I say so many, I've been in a good couple, and there's almost like a script for every issue. So you can literally just run this business while you sit back in your like chair like Cartman in fucking South Park and try to coach these people online, never jump on a loom, never jump on a call, and it's just like a wee voice, not a wee message or like a copy paste. And it's like, that's not coaching. See, when you are 100% yourself, like I can open my phone and I'll chat to any one of my clients all day fucking long and just course correct and guide and make them fucking do the work with me, because like I show up for me as much as I do, so I can show up for them, so they can show up for everyone that they need to serve in their life. And you know what it's like? See, when you drop someone that fire and they're lit the fuck up and like, you and the fucking man, let's go. That's changed their day. That's changed their family. That's changed their relationship with their missus for that night. How they may be showing up as a teacher, maybe going into school, or a guy going into work. That just because you are on your game and you're switched on, that just fucking impacts everyone. I think it's like, you want to change the world, change one person at a time. Just focus on the one.
That will spider web out though, because if you change one, they'll change another. Like, how many times have you coached somebody and then they'll be like, oh, mate, my wife now wants to get in shape, or my brother now wants to get in shape. It's like a huge knock on. So if you're coaching, let's say 100 people on this semicircle, you're really impacting maybe 1,000.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But going back to the business mentor stuff, do you know what I think is really unethical? Just expanding on what you were saying. I don't like how they almost allow themselves to coach or mentor people who are clearly completely out of shape and have no idea what they're doing. Like they'll just do anything to take money. And I'm like, now you're making them look like a dickhead talking about the top 3 tips to lose body fat when they're fat. If anyone inquires for my CEO, they go through quite a brutal, like, I want to know exactly where you are right now. I want to know what you've done. I want to know what your strengths are, what your skills are. And then I'll guarantee you that you're going to do well. And not everyone needs to be CBUM. That's not what I mean. But you've got to be literally living what you're going to teach. And I think the business mentorship is just like anybody with a heartbeat can be this coach and make 10 grand a month or make 20 grand a month. And I think it's the most unethical thing ever. It's like all you're doing is making them look like a dickhead. And those guys are looking in the mirror thinking, fuck, I don't even like my body fat. Like, how can I coach this? And it's like, they shouldn't be coaches. I literally tell people, go back to phase 1, personal development, physique, mindset, performance, habits. And I actually shift people. I'm like, look, I know you want to give me money for this, but you're not. You need to go here first.
Yeah. I think like there's a stabilization phase everyone needs to go through, like rock solid foundation where they build and scale and do anything else. And like a lot of these coaches will probably churn in the industry and just give up because they're like been promised a dream from a mentor, but the mentor will never say to them, listen, it's not a business problem, it's a person problem.
Yeah.
You're out of shape, dude. Go work in your fucking 6-pack, calorie deficit. You need to look lean. Like the people who crush it in fitness always have like a sick physique. Like, I grew up in the era of like Greg Platt. I used to watch all his motivational videos. He's a boy, always ready, year round. He was the guy. Drop a hat, he'd do the shoot, he'd do the thing. That's what I believe what fitness is like. It's like you want to be the guy.
I think these days it's even more. I think you even need more traits. So back in the day, I think you just needed a physique.
Yeah.
These days, you're not even competitive with just a physique. You need the physique and the personal development. So you've got to be able to show that you're in great shape or whatever is perceived as great shape for your audience. You know, if you're a runner or a hybrid or a bodybuilder or lifestyle, whatever that is, you've got to lead from the front with the aesthetic. But you've also got to have the mindset, the wisdom to speak on, to inspire people. I think your voice is more powerful these days. But you can't then just have too many people then think, oh, I can just have the voice and maybe copy a conversation me and you have said on our YouTube channels. But then the same thing doesn't hit when you're fat. The same thing doesn't hit if you've not built the business already. So you've got to become the guy. All boils back down to the simple stuff.
I always say across the board. It has to be across board. Every aspect of your life, I think like a rising tide lifts all ships. You know, so one area is good, okay, hold steady, get the other ones up. Because then you've got a horizontal line. And I always think like success here, personal development here, stack the personal development, horizontal run at the success you want. You know, because so many guys are like, they start here, they want to be here, they meander all the way to try to get to the goal. They waste all the time, the attention, the energy, the effort, all the shiny objects and stuff in the way. And they're like, they try to be so many different people along the way. And I've been there, you know, look at this guy, maybe a bit of him, try this. I think like a rocket fucking going into space, you fucking let go of the thrusters. I think you said something like that to me once. It's like, you know, once it hits orbit, let's go of the fucking thrusters and other jets. And it's like, it's just flown now. Because it's got rid of all the success, love, subtraction, you know, and it just flows. But you need to get rid of all the dead weight that's weighing you down. Because if you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like granular fucking, and this shouldn't be here. These wee nipples, why are they inverted? Where's my fucking vein in my arm? Fucking we checking, like you need to change. So I used to look at myself in the mirror, Tom, when I was a wee guy, like 15, 16, getting into the gym. I was 40 kilo. Like you were small as well, skinny, but you were a fucking tall guy.
I was a lamppost, bro.
You know, I was like the other way, you know, proper like wee skinny, chubby, skinny fat guy. I was like, how the fuck am I changing this? And I've said that for like 11 years now. And it's like, yeah, okay. 11 years of doing something, it's fucking paying off. But I think a lot of guys do maybe one photo shoot and they're like, they'll recycle the photos for their entire fitness business until they leave after 4 years because they've never made growth, you know? And I think it's pretty fraudulent.
That's why, do you know what? We had this conversation the other week. I personally don't even market or do the photo shoot. When I see companies doing like group photo shoots of like how many people in a photo shoot, you just attract a certain person that wants to get shredded or lose as much body fat as possible in 8 to 12 weeks. You put them on a really unsustainable program that most people drop out of anyway. Like I see it all the time. Guys come to me and they're like, oh, I've done this photo shoot with this person. I actually dropped out. It was just, I was throwing up in the gym and like I was fainting because I was on like 1,200 calories. I'm like, what are you, like, it's not sustainable. Like, do you want this physique for like one day for a picture to put on your Instagram, or do you actually want to look like that all the time? Me and you, we don't prep into shoots. We just do a shoot. Mm-hmm. Like maybe we want to clean it up over 2 weeks and sharpen stuff up, but your life's just a shoot. So I want to coach guys to shred the body fat and build the tissue, reverse it back up, and then go through a performance block and then optimize their mindset and how they operate and how they're responding to the conscience, like actually now taking bigger moves. And when someone's set on like a life success and their body is the vehicle to doing that, you're working with people for a long time on big goals, and that's fulfilling, and you get to take people on a big journey. There is nothing fulfilling about taking someone on a photo shoot prep. I used to do that. So it's like people may say, oh, that's, you know, contradicting yourself. You used to do photo shoot prep. I did used to do that. And I realized very soon that weren't my purpose.
Mm-hmm. Like I can't even speak. I will run photo shoots with my guys again, and we'll do them. But the way I'm going to frame them are going to be far different, because I've had great clients. You know, you're working with them year and a half, personally developed them, working on their business, their relationships, career, and it's like, this is sick. This is working really well. Everything's going to plan. Great rapport and connection. They do a photo shoot and they reach the peak amount stupid because they think they've completed something.
People think they've won way before they've won, don't they?
And they do this and they get a couple of photos, some validation, Instagram's fucking popping. Bro, you've done it. And then they're like, yeah. And then they start whacking down these fucking like silly cakes, like these big fucking loaves of biscuits and shit. And it's like, okay, why are you not messaging them back? Why are you not checking anymore? And it's like, you know, I've taken it easy. It's like, bro, you've been taking it easy for a fucking month now. Checking.
You've been taking it easy for 25 fucking years, bro, until you start this.
And then it's like they do the shoot and they've gained fucking like 10 kilo off the back. And it's like, I've been there before. I don't know if you've rebounded off the back of a shoot before.
I've rebounded. I didn't get fat, but I've rebounded.
I've got fucking fat and I fucking jumped on like SARMs and shit. And I've like done stupid stuff off the back. Because I'm like, right, ride this wave, baby, take it all the way. But again, it's just a mindset thing. It's like, I was telling myself a story that this is fine because of this reason. But it's never fine. Because consciously I was fighting against it, but I was just, again, using another vice to push it off, and this was food this time or something. So I think for a lot of people who don't have the emotional awareness to even handle a massive body transformation if it's done in too short a period of time, I think it's just open the time horizon and give the space and the time to build. You know?
Stupid. It's like saying, oh, I built my business to 100K a month and now I do 0.
Oh, for
and
sure.
Holding on to, oh, but I used to do 100K a month. But you did that 1 month and now you got no money, but it's not fine. Yeah. You're still broke now. Like, you need to work it up gradually and then just cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
And then refine and optimize. The structure you would take with a physique and your body and your mind is no different to with a business. You just want it to be a nice linear line and then refine it and tune it. Like build the F1 car and then tune it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas most people just want to just go like that, in and out.
Yeah, build like a fucking dump truck. It doesn't even fucking move. Nah, I get that, man. I get that. So, relationships then. Let's dive into that, bro. I'm thinking your partner, like, online presence is pretty, like, mysterious. You don't really do the whole...
I'm actually not with her anymore.
No?
No.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
No, it's
Sorry to hear that. Is that
fine.
a recent thing? Chill, kind of maybe amicable?
Honestly, she's a very good girl.
Okay.
Like, there's no hard feelings with it all.
I'm sorry.
Bro, it's absolutely... I couldn't give a fuck about it. No, it's absolutely cool. She's a good girl, but I'm actually glad this came up because I was going to do a YouTube video on this.
Okay.
So I think a big thing a lot of men struggle with, I will loop back around to this. A lot of guys, I get it all the time in YouTube comments and DMs and even clients, and they're like, oh, I'm feeling down and feeling depressed and just can't I broke up with my missus and like she was the one and all this stuff. Just can't get back going. And I actually did a post on Instagram today about like fuck therapy. Like, therapy for a guy is just do the work and get around guys with a strong mindset who will show up and hold you to a high standard no matter what. It's not saying that, what you've gone through isn't hard. Guess what? It's going to be fucking hard. But you got to show up either way. And being in the process, like doing more personal development will never make you feel worse. Whereas if you sit there like this, it's going to make you feel worse.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So have your 20, I always say this, have a 20-second rule. 20 seconds, feel what you want to feel, then you go bang, straight back into it. I can have had the biggest arguments ever. I don't argue, so that's an exaggeration, but let's say I've had a disagreement. And I have a YouTube video in my diary that I said was getting done at 11 a.m. This could be happening at 10:59. Halfway through it, I'll say, I'm leaving, I've got a YouTube video. Like, you've got to be able to do that, right? But it doesn't matter whether you're with them or you're not with them. You've got to just be able to stay process focused and not allow emotions to control actions. And then also, if you do break up with a girl, like what's taking time off going to do? What's feeling sad going to do for you?
For sure.
Like nothing. Like what people don't realize is there's 8 billion people on the planet. And 8 billion people have all broken up with someone. Get the fuck over it. Like, it's the most common problem on the entire planet. Like, the most common thing is someone gets with someone and it doesn't work, right? Like, in my situation, to answer your question, very good girl, ticks 99.9% of boxes, but just energetically and frequency-wise and alignment-wise, on a few things like that would just keep coming up, and not arguments, but just disagreements around certain things that I know for the long game.
Yep.
If I'm thinking kids, I'm thinking family, I'm thinking all of that in the future, it's not aligned. And I think most people then hold on and hold on and hold on and hold on. And then there's the decision or the discussion around, do you keep working on it? How do you know when to keep working on it, when to end it? I work on it for X amount of time. And if I don't see change, well, then I just say, okay, I complete full respect, like nothing against her at all, but we're just not compatible for that. And you have to then be able to also have the muscle where you can say, look, I love you, I respect you, but we're not compatible. And I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste your time. And that's it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you can feel sad, but what's going to happen? Like, I would rather be on a high frequency. Like, success is subtraction. I don't mean that like, oh, every person you get with, you should get rid of them. I don't mean that. But if something's not aligned and is taking away from you, not because they want to take away from you, but there's just something not quite aligned, which means you can't just be fully you. You've got to do whatever it takes.
I think it's a really mature way of looking at it. It's funny, man. Put you in a room with another like 24-year-old, they'd be like, "Oh, fuck her, man. All that shit." Bro, superb, man. Superb answer. I think that makes complete sense. That's sick, man. That's sick.
Yeah, I mean, me maybe 5 years ago would have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I was still pretty mature with stuff. But no, now I think the main thing is about leaving it on terms with like respect. You know, I want to be able to be 5 years down, 10 years down, and no one say a bad word.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for me, respect. You just got to be able to be like, and also, it shows your character if you hold yourself to that high standard, and they're like, this guy doesn't mess about.
You got to stand on your own 2 feet, man. You really do, because see, if you were to hold on to that, and like you said, you know, try and make it work. There's a time, you know, and it's usually after the first fucking time, personally for me, that if that happens again, it's cut. Or if like, I think a lot of guys would hold it, and they stretch apart, then they break up, get back together, break up, and nothing ever changes. It's the same shit, different pants.
And
every
most guys are
fucking
going to
week.
face all of this because if you're on a fast pace growing, and what people might be like, oh, Tom, you've got to a certain level, but I'm growing consistently at a certain level. Like I've personally developed a lot since January. And I've known this girl since just before January. So like I've grown a lot in that time frame. And every single day, every single week, I'm like, okay, I'm becoming this guy. I need to hold myself to higher standards. And you can create a disalignment. If I'm trying to be here, and I'm not saying to my partner, oh, you have to be me, because it's a woman, right? But I'm saying I'm wanting to hold myself to a higher standard. Can you align and hold yourself to a higher standard? And I think sometimes when you try to raise somebody to their highest standard, it can look like an attack on them when it isn't.
Holds the mirror up a little bit, even though it's like in their head they're winning in their own thing. But then it's like,
but if they're not ready to make that change, which again is absolutely fine. Like everyone moves at their own speed, and I wouldn't say I'm an easy person to be with. I wouldn't say many crazy focused entrepreneurial people are easy to be with for a normal girl who's not been with someone like that before. So I would just say you've got to just be prepared to do what it takes, and don't ever live in resent is what I think. So I'm like, look, I know what happens if I'm trying to be here and you're not matching, and I would never say to a girl like, look, you're a dick because you're not aligning with me, or you don't agree with this. I'm like, look, this is where I'm going. And if you want to align with that, that's amazing. And if you don't, I won't think any worse of you, but it's not compatible.
Yep.
But if that happens, if you stay with that person that you do love and respect, if you stay with them too long, you've got this gap which gets bigger. And then you've got like a resent and like a hate that shouldn't even be there. And then you actually just break and end on bad terms. And I think most people wait for that, for it to get nasty to walk away. Whereas I'd rather just catch it while it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like you saw me and my partner like a week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe.
Yeah, when I arrived, it was chill. You were, you know, sitting with each other, doing what you're doing in the gym, help film this. It was just like, oh, cool.
And if I saw it tomorrow, it would be pretty much the same.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think this day and age though, like men really do struggle with the real talk, the real conversations. They can't look the chick
I think
in the
it's
eye
their
and
own
say,
self-respect.
Yeah, they don't back themselves enough. They're like, I want to wait till this gets to a crisis before I take action. Till the house is fucking burning down and she's already sucking some other guy's dick, and then I'll break up.
I
with
think
her.
deep down, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think too many guys wait for that like hate and anger. So it's like basically because they can't make decisions for themselves. They need a definitive, okay, it's done. She's fucking someone else now. Whereas if you are a disciplined guy and you're self-aware and you know exactly where you want to be, hold yourself to a high standard, respect yourself, you can create that definitive answer for yourself. And you can say, look, this is tough. I love this person, not compatible. And I'm going to make this decision to respect myself and respect her. Whereas too many people just wait for that bomb.
Think about in the UK, you know, you got the classic man, classic chick, they're out on their night out. The fucking girl's talking to another guy. and the relationship's fucked anyway. You know, we just discussed it, like whatever. And then, you know, big alpha guy comes, you're talking to my missus, dude. And the big fight breaks out, and then they break up. And it's like, he was just saying that could have been a friendly conversation, but he's looking for a way to cause a problem, to either run away from the shit relationship that he's already in because he's got the mortgage, he's got the fucking, you know, step kid or something. Then
I think a lot of guys fear being alone as well.
yeah. They'll either hold on to something until it dies and fucking suffocate it, or they'll push it away.
But the sooner in life that the lads chase pain in any realm, like with the habits, the physique, moving away. Like even when I moved to Dubai, oh man, I knew nobody. Like I came out here on my own, 22, I think, and knew nobody. And it was like a loneliness, but then you really find yourself and who you are, and you're doing things on your own. You start speaking to new people, you figure out who you are. And then when you know you are fine on your own and you are growing on your own and you're on a mission on your own, well, if you've got like a good partner, but like it's not aligned and you know deep down it's not going to work, you are totally cool stepping back out because you're like, well, I'm fine. Might be tough right now, but I'm fine and I will continue to grow and something better will come because I know I'm still doing the work. I think all the fear comes when they know they're not doing the work.
Yep.
And they're almost scared of, oh my God, if I break up with this girl now, that means now I'm going to have to start going to the gym more. I'm going to have to start earning some more money because no girls are going to be interested in me because I was comfy and this girl was comfy. And they're like, they fear doing the work.
Oh, it's actually too accurate. That it's like, well, the girlfriend never said it, and when they hugged the guy and they felt the fat rolls, it's comfy. I like the dad bod. It's like, cool. I'll stay fat and weak and look like an idiot and eat my fucking hot dogs or whatever. But no, you're completely bang on.
Do you know what's kind of psychopathic about me though? Like, is not ideal.
You're psychopathic.
Yeah.
I'd never got that.
as bad as it sounds though, like, and as tough as it were, you know, like I know as a girl, you feel a lot of emotions, but I kind of like, because of that relationship with pain, like I kind of just sat there like, yeah, this isn't ideal, but again, it was a decision. It was my choice. It was like, I've asked for this from the universe. Like I've made this happen. But then I was kind of like, pain, let's go.
It's a growth thing, but that's a positive mindset, truly. Because you could sit and dwell and you could get the fucking Nutella out and a wee fucking spoon and sit and watch fucking Love Actually like a gimp. Can I say that? Probably, yeah. This was
nothing about my day has changed one bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't even notice.
Well, I mean, it was fully finalized this morning.
Yeah.
Like she literally only like moved out this morning.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't be any different.
And I think that's what separates the men from the boys, is being able to, you get man-childs, you know, that would be in fucking...
Well, this could be a 2-year down spiral for some guys, which is crazy.
It'd be crazy.
Like, whereas the same pain for me could be like a 1.2 accelerator. So like the gap of some guy, if we've got a middle line here, some guys go back, which that's a big gap you've not created.
Such distance.
The people at the top in anything, they've all experienced the same pain, if not more pain. They just use the pain differently.
Yeah.
Spiral up or spiral down, and spiral up's the only answer.
I like the callus it gives me, the pain. You know, it's kind of mental, physical toughening.
Well, you wouldn't be here right now if you hadn't experienced pain. That's it. What would you say is the most painful? Why would you say you're here right now? What pain has driven you?
I've had 3, I call it my 3 chances, to be honest, that made me wisen the fuck up, right?
Yeah, let's hear them.
So one of them was, actually maybe 3 or 4. I'll go into 4 of them. My mum got really ill. She had cancer, like terminal. She was on her way out. She's still with us, luckily, you know. When I was like maybe 14, 15 or something like that.
It's a very similar story to mine.
Yeah. But brother was like, he just moved away to London. Sister lived in Australia. Dad was like a cop on like night shift, like constable guy, super busy. Just me.
Yeah.
And I had no clue what was going on. I was just a skater. You know, at the time, I just spent 10 hours a day skating.
Did you feel a big weight on your shoulders as a young guy?
Yeah. Shoplifting, fucking started smoking super young, wrong crowds, all this kind of stuff. good crowds and wrong crowds, you know, but I was around older people a lot, like the weird older skaters that were like 30 and I was like 15, but I would be like cutting a bit with them. So exposed to a lot from a younger age, drinking, drugs, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So that, but then I kind of like had to fend for myself, I guess, you know. I started like selling the stuff I was stealing, doing this stuff, like making a bit of money. And so that was a pivotal moment, you know. I'd say the kind of the sobering fact that my mum could fucking pass. And then a few years later on, once I'd been coaching and PTing, super busy, working between 3 different gyms. The one that I just kind of opened that had like little to no clients yet, a one in Glasgow and one in another town. So I would coach all my clients in a triangle. And I was like so fatigued and burnt out living in the city. I fell asleep at the wheel one day. And when I was driving,
I saw this on your story the other day.
Yeah, fell asleep at the wheel. Head-on collision, like 70 miles an hour. I woke up down a ditch, ambulance pulling me out. Car was like snapped in half. I was covered in like coffee. I thought it was blood when I woke up. I was like, I'm fucked. But I saw the other car and I'd nearly killed someone else. But I managed to like run over to the guy and just like, he got out of his car and I just hugged him and I was like, I'm so happy you're alive, because he had a family. So I could nearly kill the guy pretty much. You know, that woke me the fuck up. You know, another time, and I don't know if it was between then and there, because I was like, used to smoke weed, would do anything for like a quick buck, I guess. You know, I coached this kind of like drug dealer guy for a bit. He was like, I'll give you free weed if you come pick me up and do this run with me. So I did it. I picked him up. And we had to go pick up like a guy who was on the list for like murdering someone. So I had a murderer in my car, like a top drug dealer. We had to drive up to this like seedy dairy farm. And what was happening was the guys at the dairy farm were dropping up, like giving the guy I was with drugs in return for the guy to get fucking done. And I was there and the police came. And I had something like 30 grand over drugs in the car at the time. And I was bricking it. So I was like, okay, strike number 2. I don't even know if I can even share this stuff, you know?
Yeah,
like,
of course, man.
But like, that was a big one. And that stuck with me a long time. Because that's when I was trying to build my business. So I was living a double life, man. I was trying to be coach, trying to be motivator guy, doing the fitness. And then on the other side of town, I was like this guy. So I was like really split between 2 sides, because the minute I wasn't coaching, I was like around the wrong people and stuff. And it was like fucking with me big time.
Environment's huge, man.
Absolutely huge. And like after the car crash, after that drug thing, and this was like through pandemic, you know, was living with my missus. She moved in early before I wanted her to move in. Toothbrush was in. She was just like, it just happened. I was living with a good mate as well. At the time, it was just too close for comfort. I wanted to fucking kill myself, mate. I was just like disappointed with who I was. I was like, if this is what success is, I don't like it. Because I'd got the gaff, you know, the balcony. I had like a decent enough car.
What you thought you wanted.
Had like loads of got to a point. I had loads of clients. I was fit. I was in shape. Still smoking hundreds of weed though. Had the girl, living with my mates, kind of penthouse in Glasgow. Stood in a balcony one day and I was like, I'm doing this. Like I was there, do you know, I was like pumping full of adrenaline, like now's the time. And then my mate came through and he was like, dude, what are you doing on this balcony? It's fucking cold again. Like, come on. We're chilling through here. Me and your missus, like, come on. And I was like, and I just went in and up here sat there. And then they were like 4 things for me, I'd say. The mum one wasn't really like that was external. The other 3 were my doing. I'd say I put myself in those situations, you know. Whereas the mum one, that was tough as well. That was a bit like, I had to kind of learn to like be my own person there. But those 3 were like, you've had your 3 strikes, wisen the fuck up, and let's get to work proper.
Would you say
now.
the thing with your mum was more like a constant, even when you weren't aware, it was like a weight on your shoulders because it was just there and you just kind of wait and you're not sure what's going on? That's what I found. But then you can have certain instances like the others where it's just like a sniper. It's
in
like,
your face.
wake up.
The mum one, definitely, like if you've experienced anything similar, mate, you don't really know how to understand. I was young as well.
Yeah.
You know, you try to tell other people. I remember the first person I told was
I didn't
like,
talk about it. Mate.
yeah, I didn't really, but I told like it wasn't a close friend. It was like a skate friend. And I was just like, oh yeah, but he was like, what's up with you? I was like, I think my mum's got cancer. And he was like, fuck off. I was like, no, like, bro, I think it's an actual problem. And because like my family, my dad was super busy, mum and sister and brother were elsewhere. It's just getting me, like empty
It's a
house, mum in
huge way.
hospital, and I'm like, what's going on? So you start learning to cook and start doing all my own shit.
Yeah.
And I guess it kind of grew me up a bit faster as well. And then seeing my mum, you know what it's like, mate, when you go to a hospital, it's like you see your mum there and she's like emaciated, fading away almost, and you're like,
It's awful.
rough, mate. Super rough. So those four things were like big.
What advice would you give to a guy to have the big change in life that you've had without having to run into these big problems and wait on these big problems? Because I think a lot of people do. They wait for the huge breakup before they take action. They wait for the getting arrested. They wait for these things when in reality they could do it right now. So what words would you say if it was to your older self so you could avoid everything you've kind of gone through or the avoidable things?
I'm glad you kind of framed it there to the older self, because like I feel I can actually just speak down to my younger self, because I think it generally just does come down to respect factor. Like, how much do you really respect you? I used to hate me. Like, I've even posted content about that before. Like, I used to hate me. I just didn't really didn't feel like I was gonna amount to anything. Failed school was shit. Failed PE.
Do you not find it kind of crazy though now how like I know when I was that guy, I know we had like Instagram and stuff, it was all newer and stuff then, but like I know when I was that guy going through that stuff with my mum and whatever and everything you went through, there weren't anybody talking crazy level value and personal development and authentically anyway on social media. So I think that's one of the best things. It's like you get to be selfless, but it's also nice intrinsically as well, knowing when you see the feedback. And I know most of the guys we work with are in their 20s and 30s, but you do get the guys who are 14, 15, 17, who watch the content, who it hits hard. And there was the influencers who lived the lifestyle and traveled to the Maldives and Dubai and stuff. There was a bit of that going on. But there was no raw, authentic, real talk, real value that would actually change your life. It was more entertainment content.
Yeah.
Whereas these days, there is a little bit more coming through. Not loads of it. That's obviously what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. Doesn't get pumped out as much. The Maldives videos like more clickbaitable, like rather than you sitting in a fucking dark office or like me on my iPhone just actually like telling it how it is. And just like telling little like short snippet stories about like what the fucking real facts are when it comes to massive change.
Do you know what as well? That's just reminded me. I had a comment on YouTube the other day and it was some guy that hit the nail on the head. And he was basically just saying how he was like, this channel has so much value.
It does indeed.
But he was saying how like the subscribers and the views, like a few K views on this video. I can't find the exact comment right now, but this guy was basically saying, look, this channel, you know, it's got like 3K views, this video. And then there's videos on like the most stupid stuff online with like 20 million views.
So I tried.
And it's just a sign that people don't want to get results. They want entertainment. And people are just looking for the wrong stuff. So it's obviously important that we try and get it out to as many people as possible. But also people have to want to change themselves. It's like what we talked about with the relationship thing earlier. It's like if you try and hold people to a higher standard, if they don't want to, you can't. So all you can really do from our position is inspire, walk the path, show what we do, and people will shift from it. And I think in the next 10 years, a lot more people will shift. I do think the world's shifting.
It was like a new age. will be like almost come from it. Like all this kind of like, I think the last 5 years of fitness from like COVID to now, that's going to die soon.
I think it's pretty much gone.
It's on its way out. You can see people clutching at straws, grabbing new tactics to try get this next thing.
Cheesy, isn't it?
And it's fucked. You know,
Yeah.
I've actually brought you 5 pounds of belly fat to wiggle out.
Poking the bottle.
Exactly, but that will die out. And then the guys, like, I felt just like, see, when I came across you, dude, I was like, fuck me, this guy gets it. You know, he's posting the stuff that I was like, can you even post that at this day and age? Is that even like, then I was like, yeah, fucking let's roll with it. And it's like so authentic, so aligned, and it solves a problem, but it's a longer problem to solve because we know it's a longer journey. But we can give the short little tips and tricks along the way for people to actually grow into the person they need to be to solve the main thing in life, which is like building a life, building the mindset, building the physique. But it's all stable. Like once that's all stable,
You need
then
everything,
can have the
don't you? But there is
success.
a definite path to it. Whereas
Yeah.
that's what I don't get. Like I would be unauthentic to just have the photo shoot product, which solves like half of one of many problems. Where in fact we know, right, people need habits. People then need to build their best body. On top of the best body, they will only then start to build a mind. You can't have a great mind on a bad body. Once you've got a good body, your mind will instantly be better. Then you can 10x your mindset and your performance, how you operate. That's part of the problem. But then from there, you then need to build and expand on the personal, professional development,
Yep.
build a business and build freedom, build a lifestyle. And not everybody needs to go and earn crazy, crazy money. But like, in my opinion, everybody who has that feeling already in their chest, the bare minimum a guy should be doing is 10 grand a month.
I can agree in that. 'cause I've seen
Online
it.
as well.
Yeah.
Like we were even saying before this, like even if someone doesn't want to be in the coaching space, oh my God, like within 7 days, I could make a business doing 15 grand a month just using ChatGPT on my phone. Like it's stupid. Like I'm like, can some guys just wake up? Like people aren't looking for the basics. It's like they don't want to know.
They're scared of the unknown. Because again, they don't back
Programming.
themselves enough because they don't know themselves.
That's why it all starts with phase one, right?
It has to start with the blueprint. Like the five simple steps, the macros, the training, the personal development, reflection, nailing your and fucking waking up early doing the work. It's like if you do those 5 things, and pretty much every one of my YouTube videos goes back to those.
Yeah.
They end up coming into because I'm like, I don't have anything else to say, but just boys, please fucking do these 5 things. Test them. If you don't like them, that's cool. You can stay where you're at. But trust me, the path will illuminate as you walk it, and that self fucking work will equate to the self worth down the line. And you won't know it until it hits you in the face and you're like, fuck me, I am ready for this next level. Because when you turn into a 10 out of 10 version of you, you're going to want to have, well, you have the confidence to start the business, to get the check that you want to get, to maybe just fucking invest that extra bit of money because you're like, you know what? I've stacked all this undeniable proof. So no one's actually told me I can't achieve this. Let's go then.
People should just ask themselves one really simple question, which is how could being better make me worse? Or even the same? Like how could working on yourself, raising yourself to a high standard, looking better, feeling better, being internally better from a health standpoint, having a better mindset, being around guys who are actually where they want to be, how could that keep you in the same place? And they're scratching their heads like, not sure. I'm like, that's why I don't do sales calls. Why do I want to sell to you if you're still scratching your head about whether or not you want to look like you've got a pair of bitch tits and you want to be broke all your life? I'm like, no, I'm not here to talk to you. Like, if you can't figure that out for yourself, if you can't look at a guy on the internet who's in the 20s, living in Dubai, there's guys driving around in Lambos every day, and you're the same. These guys are ripped. These guys have got fit chicks. These guys have got loyal partners. These guys are respected by top-end men. They've got money coming in every month. And then you're there in a 9-to-5, broke, average, fat. How can't you want that? Every man biologically does want that as well. People just can't be truthful to themselves.
I think a problem for me back in the day when I was like getting into all of this was I didn't want to admit that I wanted that. Because
It's the
it was
problem
like
of the world, man.
societal norms. You know, I was told that, you know, you make your money, you follow this path that was almost like pre-created for you. And I think I started walking that path, but then I cut it. And I was speaking to my mum yesterday, you know, on my birthday, chatting away. She's like, you've gone and you've done what you said you were going to do. So what's next? And I was like, I'm just going to 10x it even more. I'm just going to keep hammering it. And because she follows, she like, you know, fucking, you know, follows the content. She's cool that way.
Yeah.
You know? She's like, you're just on it all the time. Do you ever take this? I was like, there's no need to. I'm living my best life. I really am, because everything I'm doing feels aligned right now. It's like, you work so, but it's not even hard at this point yet.
No.
And it won't get hard for probably until it's 5 exercise, 10 exercise, whatever. Because like, I'll just grow with it though.
That's why your environment's so important though, right? Because like, if we're born, like I was born in Huddersfield, no money, right? No, Huddersfield has no money, right? And if you're being told that, oh, if you go to uni and you get a $2,500 a month job, that's good. That's good for your age, Tom. Well done. You're earning $2,000. Well, if you were born into a place, it's not about the knowledge. Forget knowledge. If you were just born into a place where they said, oh yeah, 10 grand a month is the standard, you're a retard if you earn less than 10. If you were born there, everyone would earn 10. Everyone just raises to the standard around them. So let's say there was me, you, 2 other high-performing lads, and then a guy who's been a bit of a donut. If he just hung around us every single day because we're now the standard, it isn't just what people think, oh, I can't get in the room and I don't get the knowledge from them. Just the exposure and the proximity to the people. You will feel so out of alignment, you will just raise to their standards. Yep. And it's not that we've all told him loads of stuff. It's just the proximity. So people should always optimize for proximity to high performers and other guys. And now we've got social media. It couldn't be easier. So when people are like, oh, it's harder, don't live near any, I don't know any. I'm like, neither did I. I just literally went and got in programs and communities where there was guys who were where I wanted to be. Mm. And now, oh my God, I remember that a program I jumped in, and I was in there, and one of the biggest guys in the space was in there, and he was doing $4 million a month, and I'm in a program with this guy. And now that's a standard. So like my head's thinking, well, the baseline I need to get to must be $4 million a month, because I've been in a room with it now by paying my way into a community, into a room. Whereas if I just looked at everyone around me back in Huddersfield, I wouldn't be earning more than $3,000 a month.
Once you're exposed, you can't be unexposed.
You can't.
It's almost like a blessing and a curse, because like you've seen what's on the other side, and people like the grass is greener on the other side. You never know. It's greener where you water it. But if you're willing to do the work now, you've seen what you've seen, you're going to fucking make something magic happen in your life. You know,
more of anything is never a bad thing. You know,
no,
more chicks never got you less chicks. More profit never left you less money.
It's true. It's true. I'd rather have more food in the fridge than none.
Exactly.
You know, everyone can eat.
Okay, what income? I know I touched on it briefly about like I said a standard everyone should be at 10K. What income do you feel like your life started to free up?
I think seeing like the 10K get cracked when I was like, because I done that during PT sessions, you know, doing 10K months.
Yeah. My first 10K was in PT. And
that was just from raw graft. Didn't have any time to spend any money. So I accumulated a lot of
10K PT for anyone watching is absolutely savage.
Oh, it's hours, man.
So long.
Yeah.
I've just taken a guy actually who quite cool. He worked at the gym. He still works at the gym I started at. So we both started effectively at the same time. And then I worked there for 1 year, went straight up to 10K in 4 or 5 months, rode out a year, and then transitioned to fully online after a year, and then obviously built to where I am. And he messaged me like 3 months ago, like, Tom, I'm in the same spot. I'm doing $2,000 a month. You're killing it. Like, can you help me? So he came in my CEO program, and he went from 2 to 9K in 6 weeks.
That changed his life.
Yeah, and literally, but now the problem we're facing with him is we're working on his online as well. That was 9K just PT. He's got his online as well.
Yeah.
So we're like, right, let's build you some cash flow up so you've got cash that you can reinvest back into the online side. But the time is crazy. Like, it's long. I remember I used to wake up at 3 a.m., sometimes 2:30. Like, it was crazy. I would do some morning admin. I would then go to a home visit, 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. till 5:55. I'd drive 5 minutes up the road. I would do PT sessions from 6 till 11. I would take an hour and a half off to literally go train. Some days I didn't even take it off to go train. I would then work through till gym closed at 10 p.m. And then if I hadn't trained, I would drive to Leeds, an hour away, 24-hour gym, train, come back and do check-ins. And I would sleep like 3 hours for that. Probably the back 6 months of me PTing, I was grey.
Yeah.
I was grey.
I was a grey guy as well.
Yeah.
But like, you turn it on every session. It's somebody, like I had, like when I was the busiest, I had my own gym and I was like a unit in an industrial estate, kitted out with some basic stuff, but I literally almost like turned into an acting role when someone came in, boom, 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 follow this, like almost, it was like a thing I'd got down to a fine art of how the clock and everything was so weird, but it was like, I turned myself into like a fucking performing monkey, honestly, towards the end. I'll be doing that 70 hours a week.
You can't miss for a client.
You can't miss, man. And you want to be showing up. It gets to a point when I was getting my wee fucking Mazda 2 at the end of the night, you know, winter's night, fucking frostbite off the barbells after 10, 11 sessions and being like, I have to drive an hour and a half up the road. And I was like, whoa, this is not the life. I can't, you know, I can't keep doing this. But any PTs out there that are fucking still doing the hard yards grafting, not trying to just jump straight into like, you know, 10K a month online or straight off the plane or something. Fair plays, but
It's graft.
It's graft. Could you go back and do?
I was saying this to someone the other day, you know. I was saying effectively the workload I used to do and in the conditions I used to do it, in the moment I was in such like a driven energy and I was almost like hypnotized. I was just going through this motion. I didn't really know where it was taking me to. I had a goal, but I was just so in the moment. And I think that's what allowed me to get where I am today, because I am very present. Like, I know I have a goal in the future, a North Star goal, and I'm very clear on my systems, on the daily inputs on how I'm going to get there. But I don't think about that all day. And I also don't think about that all day. I'm literally just here.
Which is good.
Like, I find it strange sometimes, even if I'm having a conversation, this is just the standard I hold myself to. This is nothing against people. But when people will be like, oh yeah, this happened yesterday, I'm like, I actually don't care what happened yesterday. I'm like, now. Like, I'm such in a now moment. And people can think I'm a little bit savage for that, but I do. I'm just like, I'm in this moment. I know what I'm doing over the next, I'm just so like in this moment. That's it.
It's day one mindset. I think it's like the neutral thing. You wake up in the morning, alarm goes, you either snooze it or you create that deficit of karmic debt, or you just step all the way to the top, tax yourself out, comes the end of the day, like tonight when I go up the road, I'll just fucking switch off and then it's restart, re-go. And today, it happened. It was great. It was a great day, but I'm not, not a single thought. I'll just look at my diary for the next day and I'll be like, that's getting done.
Yeah. Yesterday's wins aren't today's wins.
For sure, bro.
I ran off that philosophy for a while, and now I'm in even more of an extreme mindset where it's like, last minute's win isn't this minute's win. So it's like you're never in a winning mindset. You're just in like an attack mode all the time. And I had a morning where I have like KPIs for our business and stuff, right? And there was one morning where obviously I don't do calls, and there was all these inquiries coming through. I was waking up and I was literally lying there at like 3:40 in bed. And I'd actually woken up at 2 in the night, closed 2 people at 2 a.m. Okay. By 5:50, I'd done like maybe $9,000 UK. And then like I could have just sat back then for the day. Some people would sit back for the month. I literally then all day was just like I was like, that was last minute's win. It's gone. Like as soon as it's just gone, I have no feeling around money. I'm like, there is more people in this world that need help. Like the money sides, I think at the very start, you know, like when we're talking about PT and money and you're working and your hours are crazy. I was that material spender because I needed to feel good about it. Whereas my feeling doesn't come from the money now, it comes from the serving. And I'm like, I couldn't serve more people with the PT. So I was like, I need the money to feel good because I was at capacity.
Yeah.
Whereas I know in my business model now, we're so scalable and there's more people in the world we can help. So the money is like, I'm disassociated from it. I'm like, when people come in, it's going to pay me money. Duh. So I feel nothing, but I'm like, but there's still that whole pond over there who have a problem. I can help them fix it. It will change their life forever. And I'm just pissed off that they're still there.
Yeah.
So I'm so disassociated from all this. And I'm like, yeah, that was last minute's win. We helped one more person. There's still 1 million over there. But that can leave you in. Sometimes you can get to 7 p.m. You've had a great day. And you're like, not down, but you're just flat. Like I'm I don't know if monotone's the right word, but I'm always within like a threshold. Yeah. I never go crazy high and crazy low. I've got like this emotional stability where I just keep myself in there. As soon as I want to force out the top or the bottom, I just keep myself in. And I think that's another thing being a partner with me. I'm just in that zone all the time. And I'm just like in like a competitive laser focus, like war mode all the time. And I just don't like.
Yeah. I've got that. See, when I'm on work and that's, you know, from a period of time to a period of time every day. See, when I'm off, I'm a fucking goofball, man. I allow that to happen. I just
good, man. It's a good trait. Yeah. I struggle with that. That's probably one of my, if I was to call it a weakness, that would be my biggest weakness.
Yeah. When you're saying all that stuff, it's like bro needs a round of golf. Go chill out, get a hobby.
The problem is, bro, golf wouldn't up. But mate, when I used to play golf full time, oh my god, man, I'm so. I literally just did not enjoy it because I was just so. But then I sit back and I go, okay, my work. Do I need to like enjoy every second? I know deep down the only moments I enjoy are when I get the messages through from a client saying, oh, you know, like, look where we've come from, changed my life. I'm moving to wherever. I can now do this. Physique looks great. Anything like that. I want to see the wins. Like the best I would say I felt last week was when a client said, look, I've just done 7K my first week. And like I win when people win.
Yeah, right? Feels good seeing that.
Yeah. Whereas I don't win from anything else.
Which I get that. I really do. I think as a coach, it's almost your obligation to live that way. It's like fluidity. It's like you just, okay, out and out. And it's like, okay, it's working really fucking well because through my teachings, my boys are fucking winning. Therefore, the shit that I'm doing, I can validate.
Do you know how
myself.
I feel about my life? Like, I feel like I'm watching myself on a screen the whole time. It's a video game. And I'm just using myself as service for my audience. Like at the end of the day, right, there's human needs, hierarchy of needs, right? Our needs are all met, right? So for us to show up every single day at the intensity we do is virtually impossible based on human nature. Like we have needs. So in order to do that, and where I think the next level of personal development comes is when you do it to serve other people. So I don't miss now because all I'm thinking about is serving new audience, serving clients, everyone who's watching and every person who will watch in the future. I'm like, I'm doing this for them. And then I think when you do it for someone beyond yourself, I think you won't miss. Like, I do feel like I am just controlling myself through the world, not for myself anymore. Like, I win off the back of it. When you give value out, you receive value back in. It's just a law. But
I think you've got to be that way because when you put so much fucking value into the world in one given day, and that's stacked over 10 years, 20 years, it would be ridiculous to not be successful in what 100%. You're doing. And I don't know how long a game you're going to play this for, but there'll be an idea or a thought you're going to have whether it be 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, whatever, when all of the work will be said and done and this next chapter will start. And you'll be fucking proud of the man you built through that, and he'll be ready for this next thing. And I think that's one of the most exciting parts about it. I feel like I've been through maybe 2 big transitions. Like I change almost like every fucking month. Like,
what percentage into your end goal do you think you are?
bro, like I'm in this till I'm fucking a bag of bones, man. Like I will coach in some capacity. I'd say till I'm fucking
Probably just on more of a scalable lever.
yeah, I will coach in some capacity. Maybe an element of doing what you're doing to an extent. A wee bit down the line, I feel like there's still a bit of fitness in me that I want to really fucking.
Yeah, I think that's a
Crush.
baseline thing that's always going to be there as well.
There's steps.
I just think you'll be less involved.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Because like we said, if we're staying true to authenticity and what men really need, they need body, they need mind, they need performance, they need business.
Yeah.
And the business side, well, if they want to follow our business model, then we can have a product.
Exactly.
If they don't, I openly say to people, regardless, every true man, body, mind, habits, performance. Then once you've mastered that, don't get rid of the first layer of bricks. Keep that, right? That's the biggest mistake of people see people make. They just get rid of that and think, oh, I've done that now. I move. That stays as the foundation. You need to keep the beams to build the skyscraper on.
Sure.
Then think about what's your purpose. Some people, it may be coaching. Well, perfect. We can look at that. Some people, it may be, I want to be a trader. I'm like, okay, go and find someone who's walking the walk in trading and go listen to them. Like, it's not a biased thing. I'm like, go anywhere where there's an expert.
100%. We've got a guy in the program right now who came in, does trading. And he's like, I always just keep missing, I always shy away from making the big thing. And we're just focusing so much on the mindset, the habit. Because all it is, it's like a fucking flywheel. It's like investing. Every habit that you put in, it's an investment. So he needs to trust those habits in himself, therefore back himself, because he wants to leave his 9-5. He wants to support his kids. You know, he's split up from his missus. It's like he's scunnered with life. He wants to change it. And he's got this vehicle here, but he's never went all fucking in on it because he doesn't back himself. So it's like we're just building him so he's so unfuckwithable, so he can just drop the hammer on that and take it to the moon, and it will happen.
Yeah.
But like you said about where
you
I'm
got to
at,
become undeniable, like completely.
For sure.
The easiest way for most guys to answer their problems is if you just ask yourself the question, if I was to place myself in a room of 100 high-performing men, would they expect that I have everything that I want? And the answer is no. So level the fuck up. Like, if people can just look at you, like right now, if we were walking around the streets in Dubai, people would just expect us to be here. Or even if I went back to the UK and I was in a restaurant in the UK, people would just look at me without arrogance and just be like, he's doing well. Like, you hold an aura and a presence. And I think everything comes back to the foundations, the standards you hold yourself to, the presence you have. And that comes back down to the physique. Not like you need to be a bodybuilder, but you need a great physique, great body, great mind. Hold yourself to a high standard. And if people would look at you and just be like, well, of course this guy's going to be doing well, you will be doing well. And that's it. Like, it's that simple. Like, if people can look at you and think, I don't think he does well, you won't be doing well.
No, it's you wear it. You wear what you're doing, you know. And as it might not be the most expensive, this or that, the other, but like I can fucking wear a Primark black t-shirt and look like I'm killing it.
This is the thing, bro. Both of us now wearing no logos. Back in the day when I needed the validation, when I was skint, I had logos everywhere.
Yeah. You need people to be like, oh, he's doing this. But even when I came here today in the cab, I jumped in. The guy was like, I wasn't going to do another job today, but I saw you, and I was like, you look like a guy worth driving to somewhere tonight. I was like, fucking cool, man. He's like, what'd you do? What you up to? And it was very interested in me. And I was like, I rate that. And I was like, I thought in my head, I was like, well, I've got like, okay, dress on, kind of well dressed tonight. I'm fucking ready. I'm in a good G'd up mood. I'm keen to like drop some bombs with fucking the big dog. Like, yeah, energy was right. So he obviously saw me and he was like, yeah, I want to be around that. Because he was like he was like a taxi driver chilling. Yeah. And I was like, you doing this? And he was on a low frequency, and he's like, he wanted me because we chatted the whole way here.
You get
You
some,
know?
I tell you what, when you look good out here, you get some very curious people. You get a lot of doors opened.
Mm-hmm.
You get into a lot of good conversations by literally being approached because people can see you operate from a certain standard. But then, like you say, with the taxi drivers, every single day, if I was getting in a taxi, like I got a taxi here today, they are curious. If you just look like a slut, no one gives a fuck about you if you're like that. No one gives a fuck. As a 99% of men, no one gives a fuck about. Like once you're 18, no one gives a fuck. Like that's the
there you
reality.
go.
And that's why it's tough.
Yeah.
You have to become somebody that people give a fuck about. And then you win. But then when you win, like people are like, how do I win with women? How do I win at business? If you win at life, you win at all of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you win at yourself, you win at all of it.
If you give a fuck about yourself.
Yeah. So
No.
instead of, oh, what's the best one-liner for a chick? Why don't you just master you?
Yeah.
And then everyone will. The lads will give a fuck about you. The women will. The business opportunities will. The potential clients will. Everyone will. Like it all comes together. Like there's nowhere in my life did I think, oh, I need to figure out how to get women. I thought I need to figure out how to make me fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm fucking good, who then wouldn't want to be in some form of partnership?
Yeah, it's a presence. You know, people
Yeah.
just need to be around it when you're about it. You know, are you fucking about it? A lot of people aren't about it when it comes to like being across the board. And that
I think it's quite easy to forget that when you're here, you know. Like I've been out of the UK now years, and it's almost hard to relate. But like I remember my old life, but I see occasional stories back in the UK on Instagram, and I'm like, oh my God, like I forget that that's happening every single day. And over here, it's just a complete flow state, full of energy all the time.
It's a bubble.
I'm like,
It's a fucking bubble.
do you know how I see? Some people may be offended by this, but I mean, I'm from the UK, so I can say it. The UK, in my opinion, is an island, and it's got a prison wall around it. And people talk about prisons. The UK is the prison. Like, this is how I imagine me going back at Christmas, right? I'm going to go back for probably 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. I feel like I'm getting on a plane and I'm flying into a prison, and then I've got to escape back out the prison and fly back out. That's how bad the UK is right now. Everyone's just embedded in this mindset,
It's rough.
which is so bad. It's crazy.
It is rough. Even the first time I came here, me and Amy were eating at Sushi Samba, that restaurant on top of
Nice, yeah.
near on a beautiful spot. And she was like, but we'll need to go back to UK in X amount of months. And I was like, I ain't fucking going back. This is my place now. And she's like, no, but you're fat. I was like, fuck the UK. Fuck it. She's like, you can't say that. You grew up. I was like, I don't care. I am the happiest I've been in fucking years being here. She's like, what were those? I was like, no. This makes sense to me to be here. Energy, vibe, aura, network, money.
How easy is life, though, when you're out of a bad environment?
Oh,
Like,
bro.
it's actually impossible to fail. Like, yeah, I understand it. Not everyone's going to go make stupid millions a month, right? But like, it's impossible to not live a great life when you're in a good environment. The only regret I would say I have is I moved to Dubai too late in my perspective.
I say the same, mate. I say the same because I had more liquid cash probably back when I was fucking... See, when I was a PT, probably see when COVID happened, see if I dropped the hammer on that there, I'd probably be a different planet, but I can't think that way because then fucking ignorance, what is it? Hindsight is a beautiful thing. You know, you could look back and be like, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But yeah, we done it at the time that was right for us, I guess, bro. You know, it's interesting to know what could have been, mate. What could have been? Where could you have been?
Do you know what? I am grateful for every step I took. I mean, sometimes, people ask, oh, do you wish you got into the fitness sooner, or do you wish you went online straight away? That's a common question, actually. What should I do? Should I go PT first, or do I go straight online if I'm coaching fitness? Like, obviously, we coach some guys who aren't coaching fitness, but if it's fitness, it all depends on who you are and your level of current personal development, right? If you aren't that personally developed yet, no offense to PTs, because I've been one. If you're not that personally developed yet, and you need some baseline cash coming in, but you hate your current 9 to 5, just swap for PT. And then at least you're in a better environment. It might not be the world's best environment, but you're in a better environment where you feel fulfilled on your purpose. You can develop in that area. You can work on your online at the same time, but at least all of your work is purpose fueled. Then transition up. Now, I also coach a lot of guys who in the CEO program who have skills already. They've already built a great physique. They've already got a good mindset, or they might be owning a business in a certain area. Now they want to coach other people how to do the same thing, whatever their coaching model is. Well, there's no need for them to go in person. It would actually be a waste. And they're better off just learning the systems to go straight online. So if you're very early doors and you're like, I want to build a good physique because I love fitness and I want to build an online, that's where I would say, look, phase 1 coaching is best, and go into just getting a job in the industry and then the CEO and build the business after, which was like what I took. Like whilst I was a PT, I had a coach. Whilst every minute I've been in this industry, I've always been working up the ladder with something. But at the start, it was heavy on my own personal development more than the business.
Yeah. It's always going to come back to that though, isn't it? Because like, reason I jumped on with you, it was like, okay, it almost makes complete sense in the direction I want to take things going forward over however many months or years. He's already in Dubai. He's already got elements of his lifestyle. We're not the same person. We share similar values with
Principles we share.
Principles. Cool couple of things. I'm like,
that's one big thing we say, actually. We talked about this on our last call. It's not too much. Like, I don't like how-tos and exact scripts and you must do this. You know, you talked about with your social strategy. I'm like, but the principles of one of the elements we must do, you're doing, but it's just in a different way to other people. And that's totally cool. And that's actually great. So people need to study. If I talked about how I was doing something, people would be better off. People don't look this deep into stuff, but people would be better off studying what's the principle behind that, which would be a common factor.
yeah.
And it's called common factors analysis.
Okay.
If people could actually look at what's the root thing that's then true in all these different things, that's what's important. So for example, I'm trying to think of a hypothetical. I had someone asking me a question the other day, and they were saying, how should I respond to this message?
Yeah, okay.
Now, I could have just told them an exact script. And I said, well, first, you should at least mirror and acknowledge you've heard what they've said. And then you should transition with your next point. So the mirror and the transition is the principle that they must do. But if I just told them that script, next time he got a message, the same guy would have gone, what should I say?
You're trading someone to
I will show both. I will show, look, this is what I would say, but this is the principle. And then you can learn it. Like, only when you understand it will you truly learn. But just being given the answers doesn't actually do anything unless they understand it. So one thing I'm very big on, and I think this came from my golf background, is when I got coached, I was so deep and analytical about it. I was like, okay, you tell me to do this, why? What's the principle? Like, what will this do? And once I know that, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like that in our physique and mindset. I'm like, this will create this output later because of this. Same with the business coaching. It's people have to understand why. So for example, you know, when we were talking about just helping people in the conversations rather than needing to put everyone on a call. Well, the principle and the why behind that is you can actually impact more people at once because it's more scalable. They're actually communicating with you, not just you passing them off to some person to close them. And you then have more hours in the day to put into high leverage growth tasks like actually impacting people, creating more content, getting in front of more people, rather than spending time backwards. So the 12-month, the 3-year vision is going to have a lot more leverage towards it. But once you understand why, people will do it more.
Because I always like looked at it that way around before coming with you, you know? So when you kind of position that people can do that, you can do that. And it's like, that makes so much more fucking logical sense.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Most people justify their why as they're doing calls. I need to do calls. They do this content. I need to do this content. But what's fundamentally true is what people don't look at necessarily, which you obviously realized.
Yeah. And I had to have it like almost done to me before I could like process it. I was like, oh, that actually felt nicer.
Yeah.
Having that kind of flow with it. And I was like, you know what? That's the way. From there on forward. And it's worked well, man. It's worked well going forward. And I'm going to continue doing it.
You should deliver a product exactly how you'd receive it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's it.
Yeah.